Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, coming to you live from outside with a full moon tonight to have a little chat. And I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator. And I'm hoping that you are having a good Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Hoping your full moon's working out for you as best as possible as full moons go. Sitting out here on my sort of new front porch. It's been in the makings, and I wish to say that I continue to pray each and every day that each and every one of you will accept and receive the healings, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. So, with that, let's go on with the conversation. Blessings to all of you who might show up this evening, and I hope that you're nice and warm and snug as a bug in a rug and wherever you may be. It's kind of chilly out here. It's about 50, 52 degrees out here in South Georgia. And full moon, let's see. I'm just using the laptop here, but let me see if I can get the moon in on this. Yeah, there's a full moon right there. It's pretty sitting here, I'll tell you. So, thought I'd come out here and visit with you on this full moon. And also to have a chat about something that's been going on. Hello there, Ian. Hope all is well on your end too. Can't ask for any better. Tell you what, went to the store yesterday, and I don't normally buy ribs of any kind, but there was this batch of pork ribs there on at a really good price, and well, I threw them puppies on the grill tonight, and Breaking Dawn and I just hunkered down on some PIG hog, as Justin Wilson would say, some sure enough smoked on the grill ribs. Oh my goodness gracious, were they good? Oh my goodness, and homemade mashed taters to go along with it. But anyway, can't ask for better than that. But for that as a warm up, and let's all say hi to Bob and offer some coffee and a donut. I don't have donut, but I got sweet potato pie a la mode that for dessert that was absolutely scrumptious. But hey, here we go. There's always a time to celebrate with a little something simple. But anyway, with that said, the subject for tonight, and as I'm sitting here outside in the yard, I'm thinking to myself. Earlier, I was out here, and we've been doing cleaning up, and I've spent a lot of years bringing things here because I thought I was going to use them for something, and ended up turning around throwing them away, or well, at least I got some scrap, sold some things for a scrap. But in this last year or so, in my trying to get my brain back together, and even though I'm getting older, I'm trying to get healthier and do outside things, etc. I was outside earlier today, and and looking in the yard, it just looked different. Now, Breaking Dawn and I have had this conversation a couple of days ago, and over the last few weeks, or maybe a month, at least the last 2 weeks, I've noticed there, and we have talked about deja vu moments, where you like have been there before kind of thing. So this is sort of similar, but it's not. And it's in our Breaking Dawn and I's discussion earlier today. I said, or maybe it was yesterday, but it was earlier. I said it's not a deja vu moment. It almost seems like our reality is slipped sideways. It's like the same picture. It's like taking one in the old days before we had Photoshop. It was like taking one slide and superimposing it over the other and putting it in the projector, in the old slide projectors. So you got like this double image. It was two pictures over one, but there was still the original picture. So anyway, the reality of things, though, it seems like there are times when I've looked at something, and I've lived here, the better part of my life now, right here. And I'm like, it just seems like something's different. And I don't know what it is. There's not really anything out of place, but the spot looks different. Yeah, we've cleaned up. And yes, we've, done some landscaping. And yes, I've taken care of some issues that it needed to be took care of. And right behind me, we're working on a project. Oh my God. Oh, the roots that have gotten into the foundation of the house. Trying to make a gonna make is I'm still working on it. Gonna make a porch right here beside me. There's the door where the door is going to be going into the porch. So I'm basically sitting on my new porch, if you will. It's brick and concrete, old brick from old tobacco barns and old houses. Got a lot of old brick around here that I've collected over the years, and I use it for pavement and landscaping and around here down here. But anyway, but to stick with the thing about things going sideways, it's like, yeah, okay, so things have been moved around, but there are spaces that just look different. So I told Breaking Dawn earlier today, I was out in the yard. I said, look, I know I'm crazy, but I said, doesn't this space just look different? It's the wood pile right over here. And I was like, I don't know what it is. It's like it's bigger, it's wide. Something's different about it, but I can't put my finger on it. It's the same picture, but it's different. It's one of those sideways things. Can't explain it, don't know what it means, except that we've both been experiencing this similar kind of, it looks the same, but it's not. So it's not like a different reality. It's not like we've switched dimensions, at least not in my opinion. But in looking at the reality of things, I mean, look over here and hmm, it's a little early for fireflies, but something's floating around back there, edge of the woods. Anyway, but to the point though, it's like certain realities. I've looked out the same place in the same place in the woods, the same spot in the garden. Yeah, the trees get older, they grow different things. The strawberries are coming out now and they were dormant. Things change. Yeah, but no, there's something else about it. Looking at it, it's the same, but it ain't. And I'm not on any mushrooms or anything. And yeah, I can toke on some pretty good stuff once in a while, but it ain't like that. There's something else. It's like the reality has slipped sideways. Is the best way I can explain it, and I'm still trying to figure it out. So that's this discussion tonight. And Ian, Dominic, how are you? Blessings. So, I don't know if there's any insight to this particular discussion other than the fact that it's being observed. And so I'm putting that out there for anybody else too. Have you noticed that things are like, they're like the same, but they're not quite? And it's not a deja vu moment because it's not like I've been here before, because I have, but and maybe that instant in time is different. It really isn't that. It's not a I've been here before. It's that, wait, I have been here before. I was here yesterday, stood in the same spot over there in the yard, but now it seems different. And I don't know why. Same spot, same yard, or so I think. But has reality, has our dimensional thinking, has realms slipped sideways? You know, our, how would I put this? Is our reality so fragile that dimensional type things can change, whether it's through our spiritual endeavor, the fact that we're a couple of hermits that live down here in the woods, and we're not necessarily exposed to all the other types of things other people are exposed to, because of our choice and our intent. Now, does that have something to do with it? Well, maybe, but I'm still I try to be a rational human being at times. Well, most of the time, I like try to look at things and go, well, wait a minute, something's just kind of wonky here. Something's a little funky. What's going on in Funky Town? And man, the moon is right overhead. I'm gonna try to give you a moon shot here. Not of my moon, but of the moon. There it is, right over my head. Now, for those of you who have been with me for a long time, I used to do Earth Wobble, observations. I'm still doing that, but we end up with cloudy skies sometimes, and it's really difficult to try to plot where star clusters are and so forth when it's really cloudy outside. Like right now, Orion's over there, sort of to the south west. And it's a little low in the sky, but the moon is really high right now. Dominic, you asked a question. Let me put my glasses on and read, because I'd like for this to be a discussion. Do you think it's related to the veil thinning? I've heard some saying that's what we might expect going forward. Dirty Dozen says moon was full last night. Actually, it's I checked it in several locations, and it's supposed to be the 9th, which is 30 minutes from now on in my time zone. But the local news says full moon was today on the 8th, not the 9th. So anyway, Dirty Dozen, I guess it just depends on where you were. But tonight was supposed to be full moon by a lot of other standards. Anyway, I don't want to argue about it. Anyway, there it is. But because I checked before, I always check, like what? I check the calendars and that kind of thing. Okay, back to your question, Ian, about is it the thinning of the veil? I've seen a lot of things that have. Well, let's just put it this way. I've seen a lot of things, which means to me that the veil is thinning. But this is different. It's almost like spatial relationships are different. So, like the space, I told Breaking Dawn, I said, doesn't it look like it's somehow bigger? It's like wider or something. And I know it's not. It's the same distance to the truck. The wood pile is in the same place from the shed. I mean, yeah, I've cleaned up around it, but somehow it just seems wide. It seemed bigger, wider. I can't explain it. And I said, I know I'm nuts, but she goes, yeah, I kind of see what you mean. So, but we've been doing this discussion between us these last several days now about reality slipping sideways. Now, I'm open to is it part of the slipping of the opening of the veils and the thinning of the veils? It may very well be related, but it's more of just seeing between veils, if you know what I mean. And I've been in a lot of different situations. This seems different, in my opinion, than seeing between veils. Now, again, could it be associated with it? Listen, none of us have been here before. You know what I mean? So anything's possible. So to your point, Ian, it very well could be in some way. Is it a direct result, or is it my own personal perspective? Is the other side of this too? Is like, I've talked about perspective. I look at it from my point of view, from where I live in South Georgia, from and other people, they look at the world and their situation from their point of view, where they live, their neighborhood, and it does matter. So am I looking at things? But when my world, I mean, when my yard seems to change shape or seem different, it's like, wait a minute. I walk out this door several times a day into the yard, but this time it's different. Is it? Now, there were some folks who were talking about that if we made the switch from one actually that there were two planet Earths, there was like a double. And in this quote ascension, I'd hate to use that word, but in this ascension, and I'll say transition, in this transition, that there would be some of us that would go to Earth point 2.0 or 3.0 or whatever it is. And that it will look just like this one, smell just like this one, and that we really won't know the difference. Well, I'm wondering if sometimes if we aren't in one reality and then plop back into the other one. But it doesn't seem like, looking at things like with our eyes, it doesn't seem like it's in front of us or to the side, or like there's any kind of interaction with it forwards and back, if you know what I mean. And there are times when with deja vu, you almost seem like you took a half step backward and something replayed. It's not like that. It's the same thing, but all of a sudden, the slide changes, and it's almost. Here's a good explanation, or a good. Hey, Bob, I see you out there trying to jump around. Hang on a second. Dirty Dozen, Ian, Dominic, cosmic hugs, everybody. Keep the blessings going between yourselves and with your friends and family. Keep it going. It does make a difference. Anyway, back to this sliding sideways. Now, I know many folks have, newer TVs now when you go through the thing, and it's like my TV, you click it and you can go, it's like direct, normal, stretch, zoom, the picture size on your TV. Well, it's almost like I was watching the movie, say The Yard, as I walked out in the yard, and it was on the stretch. And now, when I walked out in the yard today, it seemed like it was like normal. So, which made it look like it was a little wider. The picture changed. It was the same picture, but it was like like somebody had changed the screen size. It's really difficult to explain. But it wasn't just today. It's been several instances. We're just here on the farm in places, and I'm like, it looks the same, but something's different. Don't know what it is. The pot's still in the same place. The the pitchfork still standing in the same place, but there's some type of spatial relationship that has changed. Can't put my finger on it. Same picture, but it's like a different slide. It's wider sometimes. And here's as I'm uh, trying to babble on about this. And hi, Divine Living. Love back to you all too, Divine Living. It seems like everything seems to have gotten like a little wider instead of being condensed. So, where things that I have noticed, just as in my observation, it doesn't seem like anything has narrowed and gotten more compact. If anything, it seems like it's expanded slightly. It's a very odd feeling. But ever since the turn of the year, and I've talked about a couple of things like doing spring cleaning of all kinds of things in your head, and what does wisdom mean to us, and the video I did yesterday about being noble versus nobility and our role as spiritual and human beings on this planet, how important it is for us to do noble gestures, without any recompense or what good is this going to do me? Just understanding that good deeds help the universe out. It's that simple. But the spatial relationship of things, the reality, it's almost like sometimes reality is almost like I had a camera a couple of years ago, and the automatic the focus wouldn't stay. So it would look at something, but it would zoom in a little bit and then zoom out, zoom in and zoom out, zoom in, zoom out, and it wouldn't hold still. You know, and it was a really good camera too, and took great pictures. But I just couldn't deal with it anymore. I was like, no. So I had to put it on manual all the time, which sometimes was just a pain in the butt. So, and then a new pixels came out. But anyway, but so it's almost like reality, like looking out there in my yard. It's almost like almost like a bad acid trip or something. Or maybe to some people it might have been a good one. But where things are just sort of like going in and out and in and out. Almost the room spinning kind of thing. After a really good hard drunk. No kissing of the porcelain god, please. Done had enough of that mess in my lifetime. But anyway, but is reality slipping sideways? I don't know. There hasn't seemed to be anything nefarious attached to any of our observations, Breaking Dawn nor myself. Of course, we're very local here down here on the farm, but we went to the store and kind of looked around, and things kind of seem normal out there in the real world. And we keep our eye on things on the internet and things. We're both watchers. But as far as just a local, is it just a local aberration of this, or are other people like seeing things and shaking their head, or are they just not paying attention? Don't know. But with full moon energies the way they are, and earlier today, the Schumann residence was really kicking it out. I don't know what it is at the moment, but we're in some high energy stuff right now. So y'all want to spread some love. Let's use this time that we're together at this time of the full moon to send a good prayer out there to somebody, to send some love out there, and and just really think a good thought and mean it, and send it out and let it go. You can't. That's one of the things I think we've discussed before. But when you send these prayers out, the best thing to do is don't stay attached to them. In other words, you send your intention, you send your prayer out there, you send it, and you let it go. You can't stay attached to it. You got to let that thing sail. Now your energy is in it, and you're still attached to it in that way. But some people are like, well, I'll think about this and I'll continue, and let it go, and have faith that your original prayer and the energy that you sent with it will be sufficient. Now, there are times when that I know that I have people that are sick, ill, cancer surgery, that kind of thing. There are several times during the day that I send a prayer out, but it has to be like boom, and I can't dwell on it. If it lasts for more than a minute or two, I got to cut it off, because then I can actually make that prayer not as effective. So, but anyway, I've learned that over the years, and I've learned it through other people and through other shamans and medicine folk, and it's like, it's the best thing to do, because to send it out and just have faith that you're sending it to the person or people who need it, and that those prayers will get through. So, but anyway, so with this high full moon time, we've had some clouds that were, it was clear earlier, and then the clouds moved in and they were really going by. And now they're just kind of floating in. It's a really pretty night out here with the full moon. I wanted to go to the river earlier, but we had rain showers in the area, and I was like, nah. And then I saw those pork ribs that I knew needed cooked. So I built a fire and cooked pork ribs over the coals with over oak wood. Yeah, they were tasty. Anyway, so but in the reality of the shaman, to throw this little kicker in, the shaman understands that anything is possible, because when we close our mind off to the universe, then we limit ourselves to what we can learn. So with this spatial anomaly, I'll call it, in that to me, the best way I can explain it, things seem to be sliding sideways. Not, like I said, not in any sort of bad way, but it sure is peculiar. I will grant you that. It has been dadgum, very peculiar. And I've had my share of mushrooms and acid, and I'm saying this is this has been peculiar. What you got, truth in me? I think I have to put. I really can't see without my glasses tonight. Thank you, truth in me. Love you too. Um, truth in me. It is purging negative out of people. Divine Living Man says, yes, prayer. Thanks for reminding me, especially during this high energy days. You're very welcome. Truth in me, if you find you're observing on a thought, let it go. Divine Living says there's a beautiful night over there too. So blessings all around, everybody. Let's share this full moon in this camaraderie, and we the beings of the League of Like-Minded Beings. I think it's very important that we, continue to touch base with one another, and whether or not I have an importance in this life, and whether or not I personally am important, it's important that we as a collective stay together in some way, shape, or form and touch base with each other. So if nothing else, I am a conduit of that, and I hope that continues. And thank you to all the subscribers and likes and everything. Thank you all. I know I don't go back into the channel like I'd like to, but we've been having some funky trouble here with the internet lately, and well, sometimes, Bob and his cousin, it just gets a little strange. But anyway, but to the thank you, Truth in Me, you all are very important to me. I swear to you, you are. Um, in that you are carrying the message as well. It's like I know now that I'm not alone in a lot of these feelings and things. But going back to the shaman thing, which is one of the things as a shaman in training, and and until I can learn how to walk through that concrete wall right there, I'm still in training. And then after I walk through the wall, I'll probably learn a few things that I'm still in training. But anyway, but with that said, though, in the shaman high realm thinking, if you become narcissistic, in other words, if you go around and you're boastful and you say, well, look what I've learned, look how much knowledge I've attained, that says right there, you ain't learned squat. Because, humbleness and nobility, being noble, I'll drop the nobility part, but being spiritually noble and saying, listen, I have this gift and I simply wish to share. So the shaman understands the need to share any and all knowledge to any and everyone who wishes to listen and participate, because it strengthens the entire universe. It strengthens the collective thought. It strengthens the quantum that we all know pretty much. It's there now. I mean, my dadgum computer knows after me typing a couple letters what the hell I'm going to ask it. How did you know that's what I wanted to know? What? So there are some intrinsic things in this world that all things are possible. So are different realms in existence? Yes. Why are scientists, like with the big colliders and everything, try to reach into other realms, into other dimensions? If if there weren't other dimensions, then why are people trying so hard to reach into them? Whether it's the spiritual realm or the psychic realm or the whatever realm or the dimensional thing, or however you want to look at it, it's got to be there because there are too many people who think it is. So if you think it, therefore it is, build it, they will come. But one of the big things is that I think it's more of we, when we have a relative pass, many of us have had them come and visit us after they've passed. Just a thought. My granny came by and I could smell her rose water in the room, and I knew she had passed. And other people and things like that have happened as well. And so we just know there's got to be something else, some other realm, some other feeling, some other dimension, something else other than 3D computer concrete, the land. So, but can the spirit realm be merging, as whoever it was asked earlier? I'm sorry, I took my glasses off. It makes a glare and makes me look funky out here in the dark. But anyway, yeah, the moon's almost straight overhead now. So in the spirit realm and in the shaman realm and thinking of things, we've got to understand that in order to understand, we have to understand there's more than we can understand. I know that sounds like an oxymoronic kind of thing to say, But it's true. You have to understand, wait a minute. Well, there's a tree over there. Yeah, but a tree is a living thing. It's got roots in the ground. It has leaves in the air. It's connected to the universe, both up in the tree limbs and down in. When you start learning these things, it's just a tree. Yeah, so it's got roots. No, 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 no. There's a higher level of understanding to it. And the more that you learn that there are higher levels of understanding, you realize there's things even in understanding these higher levels, that there are more levels because you can only think or see these particular higher levels. You know what I mean? You can only see and understand so much. And then it's like working out a math problem. If you don't know how to do 2 plus 2, you're not going to do any kind of geometry or trigonometry. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn how to add and subtract first. The rest of it, like, okay, but so you got to start somewhere. So in the spiritual realm, one of the first things you need to know is that, guess what? There's things out there we may never fully understand. Not that we weren't meant to. It's that there's a crap load of stuff out there in the universe to learn and to understand and to comprehend. So we got to understand there's stuff out there we're never going to understand. But the mystery of life and of the universe is there's always going to be an adventure somewhere around the road. What's the adventure? Learning something new, being able to understand something new that you weren't be able to quite grasp before, or you've had an aha moment. Blessings to you, dear Michelle. You're never late. Anytime you show up, even afterwards, it's never too late. Always remember that. With love and prayers, Michelle, and everybody else, Divine Living. Hi, Dirty Dozen. Um, but so with being a shaman doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to learn how to control the weather, or that you're going to be able to do all these things, or lay hands on people and heal them. No, it means that you're going to be the highest spiritual being that you can be. And maybe through your own talent or the universe, you may be able to heal people. You may be able to do whatever and be more than you could be, a superhero or something. Who knows? But the thing is that we have to keep our options open. Years ago, I said I'll never make it to 67. Here I sit outside looking up at the moon after having dug in the yard and chipped away at roots on my foundation, and literally busting some old foundation up because the roots from this tree over here has demolished it. I'm down here digging, chopping, banging, and I didn't think I thought I was going to be in a wheelchair by this age. Eh. So, but we have to keep our options open. So I know I keep bringing that up, but it's like proof to me every single day. Our choice matters. I choose not to be in a wheelchair, period. I'm going to figure it out. If I have to crawl on the ground. So it's that never give up attitude, never ever. And always remember there's going to be something else. When we think we got it all figured out, something else always comes along and you go, "Oh, holy crap. I never saw that coming. I thought I had it all figured out." And then but if you keep a closed mind, then anything that may come along your way, which may be words of wisdom or understanding or something for your own human spiritual development, you ignore it. You go, "Well, that didn't really happen." There are folks like that who do that. Something will happen to them, and to me, I'd go, "Man, that should have been a spiritual moment for you." It was just a bullshit coincidence, something, something. Seriously, I would have thought, "Holy cow, the angels just stepped in. God just grabbed my arm and said, 'Hey, boy,' and saved me from being really stupid or something. But other people just will sort of ignore those things. And of course, it goes back to in the shaman in training is always observing and not being. The big thing is to not be critical. I was critical of myself. I was my own worst enemy for years. You've heard me talk about it. But the thing is, I realized that I had to stop cursing myself. I was like, damn, Dave, that was so stupid, you dummy. I was calling myself a dummy all the time. And it's like, wait a minute. No, 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 no. I'm setting my own self up for a fall. What does this got to do with full moon, and what's this got to do with things going sideways? It's because observation. So over my years of observation, and y'all look at your own lives and see how things, well, that seemed like a deja vu moment, like I'd been here before. But then if you look, but is there something else out of place? I mean, I've been sitting in the car driving down the road, listening to a tune and going, I've been here before. I've seen that cow in the field before. Oh, holy crap. But this ain't like that. It's like I'm driving down the road and now the cow has turned into a moose. Everything else is the same, but now the cow's a moose. That's a big leap in the conversation, but it's like everything else is the same. Or the cow's further out in the field, or the fence. There's some. It's not a deja vu. Everything seems normal, but it ain't. I've been down this road before. I've seen cows in the field, but the fence seems further away. Observational, it's all in how we perceive things. What does it look like from where I sit, from where I stand? Right now, the moon's dang near overhead. And so, it's 11:56. So if it were truly midnight, the moon should be straight overhead. But anyway, I'm just playing goofy at the moment. But with full moon energies now, there are a lot of people who would say, like right now, there's been a lot of weird entities hanging around, going by. But one of the things in Breaking Dawn, and I talked about this, I said they don't necessarily feel nefarious or malevolent. None of these spirits seem like they want to harm me, kill me, eat me. But there's a lot of stuff that I've seen going by that I'm just like, well, okie dokie, my imagination, but I really saw something go by that window. Just saying. Tall and hairy, almost call it like a Sasquatch kind of thing. Don't know. Didn't pass by the other window, though. Saw him in one window and not the other. Interesting. Seen other things too. But so, I just cataloged those. But here's the thing, though. When I'm talking about it now from an instance that was supposed to be like one of those things you just go, just my imagination. But there are times when they're so real, it sticks in your mind and go, I don't know. That's one of those. I'm not sure if that was my imagination. It really frickin' seemed like something walked by that window. Just saying. But it didn't try to harm me. It wasn't looking in. It was just walking by. So, but in that thinning of the veil that was discussed earlier on, I do think there is absolutely a thinning of the veil. I absolutely do think that these energies, and we've all done our homework, I've discussed them, but these energies are coming from all over the place, you know, inside of us, outside of us. Right now, got a full moon straight over here. I'll give you a little bit of moonshot. There it is. That's what it looks like from here. But anyway, y'all. Yes, I'm going to light a cigarette. I've been holding it for the last hour, so now I'm going to smoke it. But anyway, um, but in the grand scheme of the energies and so forth, so a shaman would use it, and I'm sort of doing it right now by having you all here and by me doing this live. We can share our collective energies and say, who do we want to pray for? You know, and just send out a thought. If somebody's got a person, let's all send a prayer to Umpty Scrunch. Okay, let's all spend 30 seconds. Send a prayer to Umpty Scrunch that they'll get better, you know. But also these full moon energies are for us. Now, in the grand scheme of shamanism, through the folks that I have learned, full moon is 3 days. It's not one. It's the day just before full, which was yesterday. And boy, it was almost round, but not quite. There's today, and then there's tomorrow. So, full moon, people say, well, it's just one day. You've got these energies that are strong for 3 days, not just one. So you think, well, I'm only going to catch the full moon. You got the day before and the day after, because a lot of people go, well, I thought it was full yesterday. And then, well, comes up a little later because that's what it does. And people say, well, I didn't see it because they had already gone to bed. It's the observation. Maybe it was cloudy, but anyway. But to the point, though, full moon there is the higher of it. This day is stronger than yesterday or tomorrow, but in the energy of the moon, it's still really powerful, one day before and one day after. So remember that. Think about that. Well, it's only one day. Well, I only got one shot at this. Not really. You've got that big old thingy out there almost fully. If it's just a little before or just a little after the full, you still got that high energy. Use it. Use it to your benefit, of course. And if nothing else, use it for yourself. Bring that energy in and let it fill you. Just moonlight energy, come on in as long as you're good. I accept, what do I always say? Accept and receive the gifts and the healing and the knowledge from the universe. Energy from the universe. Accept it. Accept the good energy. You know, if it's feeling bad, it's going to give you a stomach ache or your chest is going to hurt. We ain't going there. So obviously accept the good energies and allow them to fill your spirit and your soul and your being. Nice cool air down here. I can see my breath. That's not cigarette smoke. Yeah, I can see my breath. So it's below 50 now. But anyway, it is cool out here. I got my big jacket on, but it's just so nice to be able to look up at the moon and go, howdy there. It's it's late. It should be a little more overhead. But with this solar house that I have, just as another observation, I was showing Breaking Dawn earlier today. I said, look down at the floor. See where the shadow is? Yeah, it's almost perpendicular. Yeah. And I said, it's 140. Those shadows should have been there at 1 o'clock. So in a way, the sun was 30 minutes late, if you will, on the sundial. How does that happen? And Earth wobble. That's what's going on. But the moon, she's right overhead. In the last several full moons, I've noticed that at new moon, the moon is further south in the sky. Full moon, almost overhead every time. And tonight, yep, she's doing a good job. Not last full moon, I was sitting here. The moon was actually over the eave of the house, and I had to lean out to look up at it. Tonight it's still a little south of the E, but anyway, just as an observation. But energy wise and from a shaman's standpoint, they would use full moon for whatever healing prayers, for especially, let's see, how do I put this? Vision quest, if you will. But I've done full moon ceremonies with other people, and it was to get rid of old things and to bring in new things. So as the full moon rises, you allow the negative things, you give them away, you get rid of them, but with that you replace it with a positive. So there is that yin and yang thing. So you give away what negative thing you wish to get rid of, whether it be a worry or a problem, whatever it might be, or that you make up your mind to resolve an issue. That's close enough. But I've had many people call me after a full moon and go, you helped me to get rid of something, and by golly, it went away. And I'm here to tell you that the positive thing, oh my God, I can already see results. And I'm going, really? It shocked the hell out of me. But the thing is though, they made the choice. The magic or whatever that I performed as a medicine man, as a shaman, was just the vehicle for them to do it themselves. Did I do something magical? Yes. I helped them to see the potential within themselves. That's all I did. I was just a machine, if you will. But did I actually perform magic upon them as a shaman would heal? I sent as much healing energy into those folks every chance I could get during the ceremony, but it was their own choice to believe, to get rid of the old and to accept new, and to have faith within themselves. Because every one of them, I told them, in order for this to work, you got to have faith, you got to believe, and you can't give up. If you give up, well, never mind. Creator ain't going to do it for you. Creator gives you the knowledge. Creator gives us thinking nature. You know, um, uh, uh, in in the old stories, there when animals and humans got along before there was this big change, when animals and humans talked. And many Native Americans, they always fasted before a hunt. They always prayed before a hunt. People say, oh, they did a war dance. Well, they danced to ask Creator to help them have a good dance, to have a good hunt. They just didn't go out and maul things on purpose. Now people say, well, they ran buffalo off of cliffs. It was the easiest thing they could do. And, they didn't push them over. Yes, they stampeded, but back then there were millions of buffalo. So what's a couple hundred in the grand scheme of things? White man went out there and wiped out the buffalo in just a few years, killed them all. Wait a minute, hang on. And they want to turn around and say, well, the Native Americans, they ran the buffalo off of cliffs because they didn't have rifles. Come on, hey, but also, now I've said this before, and there are many people who have said, especially my grandson, the deer will give themselves to you. If you're hunting an animal, and if you're serious about taking the animal for you, for eating, for your family, and so forth, a deer will present itself and look right at you and say, "Okie dokie." It happened with my grandson. He goes, "Pop, that was the strangest thing." He goes, "You were absolutely right, and the native stories were true." So, but anyway, so many my own personal things, but so many other people who've had, personal things like that I've talked with them before or after, and sometimes both, like my grandson, and to be able to compare notes and go, well, you know, you proved it to yourself. It wasn't me. I just told the story. You listened, but you paid attention is the biggest thing, because you could have shot the other deer, but then the one presented itself and you got it and you took it home for your family, and wow, and you learned from it, didn't you? Yes, you learned respect for animals and all things in this universe. So, but anyway, what does this side slipping got to do with it? I'm saying we should keep an eye on it. There's definitely some thinning of the veil. A lot of other extracurricular activity going on, if you know what I mean. Not only is there a lot of people showing UFOs and things in the sky, weird cloud formations. I mean, you name it. You folks know there's a lot of commotion going on out there. But there's been some. For example, I check Schumann resonance several times a day, along with the radar and temperature and things, and and channels and the news and so forth. But one of the things I've noticed, and I've mentioned this before, and I'll toss this out at you all, is that there are harmonies. So there's some humming going on at different levels, and it's way in the background. And a new one showed up about 36. We've had some background noise about 34, 32 ish, but even further down, there's been some really low hum, or actually, they're very high. And man, our ears have been ringing. There's been times when all of a sudden I feel dizzy and I just have to hold still and go, whoa, that was weird, you know. And it's not really, standing up real quick. But anyway, so my friends, I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept and receive the blessings. Good evening, pure love. Good to see you. Because these energies are out there. Take a deep breath, look at the full moon, allow that energy to come in you and accept it. What you do with it, well, now that's up to you. And that's one of the things in discussing yesterday's video about um, um, being noble. So what you do with this energy and the enlightenment that you receive, what do you now what now what, right? So what if our universe, if things are going a little sideways? Like I say, not necessarily in a bad way, but that things are shifting, you know? Our reality, our perception of things is maybe it's broadening. I don't know. It's 12:11 here, Michelle. But even now, looking over there at the yard, it just seems like it's wider. I don't understand. It seems bigger, and it ain't. I know it isn't. But that's my perception and that's my observation. It may change tomorrow. I'll let you know. But if it does, but is that are all these energies that are coming in? Are they expanding our thought patterns? Are they expanding our observation? It's a good question, and I can only give you my observations. That's why I do this, is because check in your world, see if things just might seem a little wonky. Not bad, again, it's not bad, but just a little something just looks a little weird, strange in that reality. I'm curious, you know. I do these videos and for a lot of different reasons, and one of them is for to establish a I guess it's observational post. You know, I've observed this today, or over the last few days, I've observed this full moon, for example. I observed the moon right there, and y'all can see it. And Orion's sitting over there, sort of normal, a little further south in the sky, which means the Earth has rolled north a little bit, and we're going into a little cold snap, by the way, as well. So, do these things, do they correspond? I don't know, but Orion's in a different position than it was 2 nights ago. So is the world slipping sideways? Is our reality going sideways? Is our thought patterns moving sideways? Is the veil being like, is the it, in theater, there are different ways to do scene changes, and sometimes you just remove one set, move it out of the way, and then put the other one back in. So sliding sideways. So it reveals something that's been there all along, but now you can, there's something else in its place, and you look there. It's like looking out the stage and go, I would have swore there was a different set on there, and then all of a sudden, shunk, is whoa. It's the same stage, it's the same lighting, I'm sitting in the same seat, but now my reality's just changed. The scene changed. Something slightly different. They moved a chair, or the table is crooked, or just something, or it looks like there's more space between the table and the couch. Who knows? What does this mean in the grand scheme of things? It means we need to keep paying attention. That's what it means. Because in our understanding, in our to be a higher spiritual being, it is about awareness. How much, sort of like the Mandela effect, in a way, and I'm hesitant to call it that, but in a way, it's like that, but it's not quite. That's why I say it's like things are going sideways. It's hard for me to like, there are some things I go, that's a damn Mandela right there. I can put my finger and say, now I remember that being blah, blah, blah. This is like everything's in the same place, but it's not. It's really strange. But anyway, But to your point, Michelle, yeah, it's sort of like that. It is. And it's like a combination of things. That's why I'm using sideways, because I'm trying to use a different terminology because it doesn't really fit any of the other patterns that I'm used to. You know what I mean? So, um, from the shaman's point of view, though, before shamans knew what um, slideshows were, they understood what slideshows were because they could see pictures of the universe or of the world or of the future or sometimes the past and relate stories and be able to convey them to the folks who needed to hear them. But in that, his power was that he understood he didn't understand everything. What? Yep. And there many people would like to argue that point, but a true shaman will realize I will never know it all, and I'm okay with that. But there are things that will come my way. There are things that interest me that I will go down the rabbit hole, if you will, and I will learn more about that subject. But in the end, I've gone down a bunch of rabbit holes, but in the end, what did I get out of it? Did it make me richer, wiser? I spent a lot of time in rabbit holes. That's what it taught me. And that, maybe I'd went too far when just understanding that there was a rabbit hole there, and in that rabbit hole contained all this stuff that was actually enough. So now I can see a rabbit hole from a mile away, and I can go look down in it and go, oh boy, there's a bunch of stuff in this rabbit hole, but I don't have to climb down in it and become part of the rabbit hole. But I'm going to keep my eye on that one. I'm going to look down in and I'm going to take a peek, see if anything sticks its nasty little head out. You know what I mean? So it's being observant. But, how far down to that rabbit hole do we really need to go? Because it's a waste of our energy, our time, our spiritual self gets beat the crap up because we go here and we go through these emotional changes. And what does it really net us in the long run? That's the thing. It's not that we can't do it or shouldn't. What are we really going to get out of it? We got to sit back and go, wait, hang on, hang on. Here's this rabbit hole about the cabal or something and blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm going to go down it. Okay. But then, and I got caught for many years, as many other people did too, with the Planet X thing. And now there are people who are trying to revive it once again. Here we go with Planet X again. Now, come on, guys. There's so much else to talk about. But, they're trying to keep it alive. They're trying to revamp the Planet X thing again. I can't believe it. It's like, have we, and I was on board with it for a while. I was like, sure, I could believe this and that and that and this and this and that about it. But wait a minute. All your predictions, it's supposed to happen by now. It ain't done it yet. This was supposed to, it ain't done it yet. Well, but we've seen this and that and that and this. Listen, there are other celestial objects in this universe other than just Planet X. And if you've ever watched, the Soho satellites or anything like that, and seen those objects whizzing by the sun, and the big objects that back up to the sun and look like they're recharging and stuff, holy cow, are you serious? Of course, there are lots of other things in our solar system and universe. We must expand our minds. Are they all good entities? No. Are they some bad guys? Yes. Are there a bunch of good guys out there, not just for us, but to help with the universe? Absolutely. I've talked about this several years ago now, but in this spring will be, I don't know, about 6 or 7 years ago, I watched one spaceship shoot another one down, right, like right over here in the sky kind of thing. So I've witnessed some of this stuff, and it's like, it is true. I didn't need a telescope. It happened right over my head. I saw it with my own two eyes. Wished I'd had a camera, but it would happen so quickly. But if we keep our eyes open and observe, you'll see these things. They'll tap you on the shoulder and go, hey, go outside and watch this. That's happened to me too many times. And I've talked to you all about some of them. But anyway, but the thing is what I've learned of all of it is, man, do I know exactly what happened? No, but I'm my awareness something did happen. I've saw it, I've observed it. Other people have seen similar things. They've observed it. Are we all nuts? No. We're seeing them with our own two eyes. Therefore, these things exist. So our universe and our awareness has changed because now we believe these things. We've seen some type of proof that they're saying, you know what? I don't care what you do to me. You can't take back what I've seen and experienced. You just can't. I'm just not going to change my point of view on it. You can ramble on with your theories and everything else, but from what I've witnessed, I cannot change my mind because they're so real, they're so, tangible. I've witnessed them. Sorry, guys, but you haven't seen what I have, and therefore I can't change my mind. I'm not going to change my mind just to make you feel better. Sorry, it ain't going to happen. Now, I might find in a situation where I might lie about it to save my own skin, but if somebody says, "Do you believe in Planet X? Yes or no?" If you say yes, you're on our side. Otherwise, we're going to shoot you. I believe in Planet X. Don't shoot me. Um, I could go along with that, but as far as changing my faith and working for the other side, that ain't going to happen. But with the shaman thing, the using the full moon for the energies that we wish to convey, that we wish to put forth to other people, not in a negative way. There are a lot of folks out there right now using the full moon for nefarious purposes. But as we sit here, I feel good. I'm like, go ahead. I'm not challenging these folks to any kind of spiritual or duel or warfare. I'm just saying I am comfortable with who I am. I'm comfortable with the energy that I have. I'm comfortable that I ain't switching sides and I'm working for the good side. And I keep praying every day that more of us will understand we're all working for the same side. And our petty minor differences are just that. They're petty minor differences. And when we sit down and look at the grand scheme of things, we can change the world, which helps out the entire universe. We should not be so petty as to think that, I mean, I live down here on this little farm, the Hermitage. Okay, fine. But I understand there's so much more than my little place. Although my little place down here is my world and my life, I also understand that the universe is my world and my life as well. So I can understand both things and accept them both. But there are many people say, "No, this is it." Up there, other universes, blah. Quantum thinking, bullshit. You and I belonging to the League of Like-Minded Beings. That's crap. Those folks are out there. So something's going to have to devilishly change their mind, or something's going to have to, pop into their world. Butterfly kiss. Hi, how are you? Um, much love back to you, Butterfly. I know you're sending it to Breaking Dawn, but sending love out there to all y'all. But to this shaman thing, why is any of this important, right? And I heard somebody say talking about the shamanic things and basics and so forth. And it's like, well, yeah, but you're trying to put these people in that these folks were trying to do some kind of witchcraft. Well, I gotta say that them guys that roll them bones and throw them out and make predictions, don't know. I know I've used runes and other types of used cards and things. So who's to say what's to say that throwing bones, casting stones or whatever isn't the same as using some kind of rune device or tarot cards or something like that to quote communicate with spirit world, as it were. Visions in clouds, um, drawings in sand. Bugs will do very strange things and leave little pictures for you if you know where to look, or have an open mind. And so, with that said, that's the whole part of this quote shaman thing. Shamans understand there is just so much more to the universe. than other people realize. That's why people come to him and go, you know something, you're aware of something that I'm not aware of. You've got a particular way of thinking, and and it may be why y'all are here chatting with me right now in this endeavor. In that, as a shaman in training myself, and as part of my, as part of my job of learning is to share with others. That's why I do this. But in doing so, I learn about myself, and I learn about the universe, because I get to talk out other ideas, present it to you, and go, hey, what about this? How about this for a thought? You know, um, are we actually, those of us who belong to this league of like-minded beings, we're actually belong to a spiritual nobility, because we would easily perform a noble act, and that we strive to be good people and observe and to be kind and compassionate. Hmm. So we've got a lot of the basics, you and I. So the more we wish to accept, the more that we will receive in the knowing and the understanding of what does all of this mean. Now, one could say it's scoring brownie points, and in a lot of ways, to simplify matters, it is. It means that for every good deed that we do, we're adding good energy to our souls. We're adding to our spiritual bank, paying it forward. Okay. Can you see any of it? Well, in a way, some of it can be tangible. Some things have manifested, when you pay something forward in it. Oh my God. I told a story about a year ago. Me and my friend, we went to the store and went out to eat. And, we got free gas. And I did about the numbers and so forth and what time it was. And holy crap. It's like, can't make this stuff up sometimes. And it happens in reality. So these things, the universe will show us, teach us, give to us, especially at the oddest of times. But if we're always cranky and melodramatic and irritable, how can anything come good our way? It's almost like our energy keeps it from coming to us. So, in this realm of spiritualness, of the veil moving, sliding sideways, however you may interpret it, there are things that are definitely overlapping. And we need to keep our hats on, and not get freaked out. Because that was one of the things I noticed a couple of weeks ago. I was like, when I just saw out that window, I normally would have maybe like screamed like a little baby and went, ah, holy crap, what the hell was that? But now I go, that was interesting. Wonder what that was. Because just because something might look ugly to me doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing. So, hey, I've met some really, quote, beautiful people that were evil to the bone. So, hey, looks ain't everything, right? But in this grand scheme of things, though, um, thank you all for sharing your energy, not only with me, but with each other and with the universe. We're using the full moon right now. I'm outside in my full moon room, out here on my little unfinished porch that I'm expanding into the thingy. Thank you, Breaking Dawn, for helping. As always, boy, have we got some roots we got to cut out. Oh my God, it's a mess. Anyway, it's bad enough to dig trenches and footers and stuff to, build something. But when you got to go through the mess we got, holy mackerel, Andy, let me tell you. But anyway, enough complaining. But um, remember that no matter what level of shamanism or spiritualism or whatever, when we cross over, we're going to have this experience of, oh my God, I'm an angel. Oh my God, I've been a spiritual being. Oh my God, I've had previous lives. Oh my God, I've had this and that and the other thing. Oh, holy cow. You know what I mean? So, but I look at what I'm trying to do now, not necessarily like to score points, but I want to try to understand what that other realm is. So I'm not shocked. I want to just get a glimpse. I've seen it. I've walked in the other realms. I think that's enough. But I still need to be a good human being for the rest of the trip here. You know, I can't say, well, I learned all these things and I walked with the spirit, and now I'm going to become a jerk. Now I'm going to start, pegging people for money and doing that. Nah, you have to continue on with that journey and with your path, regardless of what seems to go sideways, regardless of whether the full moon or it's a new moon. We keep going. But we understand that we take advantage of that which is given to us, the power of a good, strong full moon, regardless of what other people might be mumbo jumbling about. Well, we're all going to pray for that. There's nothing wrong with having a mass meditation, mind you. But it may be that you can just meditate for yourself. It may be that the full moon, which happens every 28 days, give or take, is for your own benefit. No, I mean, it's for the rest of the world, but it's for your benefit to communicate to the higher self, to the quantum, or is it reserved for those who are doing rituals? I say no, because lighting a candle and saying a prayer is a ritual, is a ceremony. You know, well, a ritual is repetitive, but I meant a ceremony. In that, so light a candle, say a prayer. That's a ceremony. That's a blessing to the universe. Do it on a full moon. Do it any night that you can. Do it anytime you can. But to use the energy, especially all of these combined forces right now, and because we are having this discussion right now, you and me and the next guy or gal, we can say, well, we're having this discussion now, but tomorrow is going to be that almost full noon, but just past. Still a lot of energy. If I can't do anything right now, or the kids are a hassle and blah blah blah, tomorrow I'm gonna spend a little time. If it's only 10 minutes with this full moon, because we're not quite out of it yet, because there's still a lot of good energy there. Let's use it for our own benefit and see if the veils don't turn sideways. Now, like again, I want to reiterate, nothing bad seems to be going on. It's just an odd observation. Full moon room. Yes, Michelle. I'm sitting out here. I'm starting to get a little chilly. My feet are getting chilly, and I got my big coat on. I'm warm up here, but sitting still on this metal chair, my rear end is, not only does it have a butt cramp, but it's a cold metal butt cramp. My little old metal chair here, but I'm not complaining, but it is the truth. I got a cold butt cramp on that right butt cheek. Frozen butt cramp o'clock. Thank you very much. You're wonderful, Michelle. All y'all are wonderful, seriously. But so I'm going to wrap this up, because I'm really going to repeat myself in a lot of other ways, and there's no sense in that part. But what is really, though, important, though, is that all of this really does make a difference. And you say, well, I don't know. And people who will just push it off to the side. Well, I don't really have time. So it's the full moon. Who gives a rat's patootie? Well, maybe you should go outside and just take 10 minutes. I say, I'm not asking, but the universe is not asking for 12 hours of participation or some kind of meditation and hunger strike or something. No. Go spend 10 minutes and say thank you to the universe. Allow that good energy to come in through the full moon and from the universe. Accept it, receive it, and say thank you. That's all that's necessary. If you got a prayer in mind, it might help you to clear it. If you're thinking on a particular thing, it might help you to think more clearly. Much loved tribe says ultraviolet. Where is my bum cushion? Says Truth in Me. I left it in the house, but anyway, I'm a tough old bugger. I can handle it. Butterfly says, so much love to everyone. We're so blessed. Give thanks and gratitude to the moon. Yes, absolutely. And, there are a lot of people who say, well, we're worshiping the moon. The moon is just one particular item, you know, but the moon is like a sister to the earth in that it helps with the tides. And it's so bright out here tonight. It's like I could walk around the yard without a flashlight. Um, but the idea, though, that we not remember, it's not about worshiping anything, but it is about using the energy. Why not? You know, So, but to give thanks is not just to the moon, but by giving thanks to the moon, we're giving thanks to the creator, to the universe. When we say thanks to the moon, we're also saying thanks to Mother Earth in a way, because without the moon, Mother Earth would really be in a lot more turmoil. So, in saying thank you to one thing, though, remember, it's important to say thanks to the rest of it too. Because if the moon wasn't there, the seas would be different. If this wasn't there and then that wasn't like this. So, yes, let's say thank you to the moon, but then say another thank you for the rest of the universe for allowing the moon to be there. You know what I mean? We have to, and giving thanks. A lot of people say, well, you got to cut yourself, you got to slaughter an animal, you got to go do all these. No, you don't. You can go out in the yard. You can do it in your house. You can do it in bed, and you can raise your arms and you can say thank you to the angels, to the universe, to the creator. You know, thank you. And in that, I mean, right now, you guys might be a part of this too, but I was feeling earlier. That's why I decided to come outside and freeze my Katukas off and do this live stream out here under the full moon. But I felt it was important to come out here and be under the full moon and be outside and be a little cold, be a little uncomfortable. It's okay. I'm not going to die from this. I'll get over it. I'll go inside and turn on the heater and put my feet next to it. I'll be good. I'll be all right. But to the point, though, it's like, though, it is the sharing. I felt better just by going, full moon. I'm going to take a deep breath and let this energy into my body and let the, rather than being a sour puss and full moon, no, I choose to accept and receive the good energy from the universe. Just so happens to be full moon too. So my friends, my feet really are getting a little. It's it's all a device unit. Thank you for coming out and talking with us, Dave. Michelle, you guys are always welcome. Yes, so much in play, not just the moon. Absolutely, butterfly. And I didn't mean to criticize whoever said that. Um, but it is that, and I'm always giving thanks. But, sometimes we can go just a little further and give thanks. Just include the universe, include the creator in the universe, not just the little things over here. Thank you for this over here. Thank you for the 3.5 inches of rain we got yesterday. Oh my God, the place is so much better. Water is sitting in my backyard after almost 2 years. Finally, it's not running, but it's a puddle. It's better than it was. So, it's almost a swamp again. So, we thank, could we have used a little more rain? Yeah, but, no complaints here. We're going to say thank you and ween. Absolutely. My friends, that's our secret code. Between cold butt cramps and ween, we got her covered. So, my friends, I do absolutely love you. Got some other subjects in the works up here that I would like to share with you, but for now, I think this is enough. Thank you all. Continue with your prayers between you. Y'all just make me feel so happy. I get giddy sometimes just for the fact that you folks out there, whether you pay attention to me or not, you're paying attention to each other. And the interaction is just so important to me. And that's because it's important. And you all prove it to me that it is. Thank you so much. So let me close this session out. I continue to pray each and every day that each and every one of you will accept and receive the healings, the knowledge, the blessing, and the wisdom from the universe. Each and every day, I pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, and all of your relatives and relations past, present, and to come, will accept and receive the gifts, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the healing from the universe. And always in that group of threes, I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept, receive, and continue to share with your friends, your relatives, and anyone you meet these wonderful gifts from the universe. Teach them to accept and receive what's there for all of us at all time. Thank you to the Creator. Thank you, Dante. Thank you to all the angels and to all the entities, to the Charistus, to all of the entities who are on our side who are fighting evil. Thank you to the universe for allowing us to be here. Thank you, Bob. Thank every one of you. Ultraviolet, Butterfly, Truth in Me, Michelle, Breaking Dawn as always. Dominic, you were there earlier. Jody was hanging out earlier. And I feel like, Mr. Doobie and pointing at everybody out there. But thank you all so very much, and for your prayers and your continued support. Thank you, my friends. Until next time, this is a cold butt cramp Hawkeye Two Feathers in Southwest Georgia with the full moon. Now it's being covered with clouds, so time to go in. I guess the show's over. So TTFN, my friends, much love and cosmic hugs. Until we meet again, be safe, be kind, and always be compassionate.